Hi there, this is Paul Thompson from Spitfire Audio. I'm going to talk you through today our new library Hg2O. I'm going to start playing as quickly as possible so you hear some sounds, but basically you can see that we have a number of patches here. The one I've got loaded up here is called the traditional way of playing this instrument with the main mics up. So you can see here we've got all of our mics, and I've just got the deck of tree selected. So before I do anything else, I'm just going to play a few of the sounds from the keyboard. You see how they're laid out. So between C0 and B0, we've got metallic rods 1 to 7, which are bowed. They're 4 round robins and 2 bow positions. So if you play more softly, you get this kind of slightly longer, more gentle bow sound. But if you hit the key harder, you get a more piercing. It's got a higher harmonic content. So those are the bowed rods in there. You can hear those. That sounds really nice. Then we've got plucked rods 1 to 7 on the next octave up. So from this C up, again with 4 round robins, and then we've got a kind of hit under the bass of the instrument. Now it's quite a useful one here to show you the effect of the mod wheel. Now you can see the controller moving there. It's controlling the water level. So at this point we're empty. At this point we're half full. And you can hear, I'm going to put the close mic in actually so you can hear that slightly more detail. So empty, then half full, and then full of water. So you can hear the difference there. Now what we're hearing there is a switch. So if I play the one full of water and then quickly pull that down and play again, you're hearing that one ring out, the full of water one, and then you're hearing the new notes will start with the empty sound. So there is an alternative way of doing this, which is so that's the traditional switch method. If we switch the other articulation, it's a crossfade. So if I press and hold the foot, will start with the full water and then pull the mod wheel down, you hear I've crossfaded back to empty. So it's quite useful having that type of control in there as well. So those are the tines. And then for the next octave up, from C3, we have hand sweeps. And there's a nice little selection there of those. Then we've got brushes sweeps. And then we've got fast bowed sweeps up in the next level, the next octave up, C5 up. And then on C6 up, we've got a slightly longer bowed sweep up there. So we've got the fast bow sweeps and then the slower bow sweeps. So those are the basic articulations in the main mics patch. Now, I'm just going to very quickly show you the different sounds from the different mics. So you've got the basic close mic. Then if we switch to the deck of tree, the ambient mics, the outriggers, which are like adding width to the deck of tree, but they're kind of wide spaced up reasonably high. So they have a nice stereo sound. We've got a close ribbon mic, which you can hear has a much more kind of vintage sound to it. We've got a stereo, our basic stage stereo mics. And then a slightly closer mic pair, which you can hear. You've still got the stage sound, but it's a slightly more intimate sound. And then the gallery mics up in the very, very back of the hall up high. So that's beautiful for the bowed stuff. Really, really fantastic sound. Now, if we switch to the mix mics patch, you'll see we've got 3 options here: fine, medium, broad. So the fine one is kind of what we kind of have referred to as our indie score sound. Very in your face, slightly vintage, We go to the medium sound. That's a kind of slightly wider, slightly more set back sound. And then broad has a kind of, it's just got a much wider sound field in there and more depth as well. So you've got, and you'll see that these are latching, so they just when you click on one, it turns the other ones off. So those are the basic sounds. Now, before I'm going to explain all the functionality at the end, so stay tuned to hear that. But I'm going to go through these other basic patches here. So we'll go for the tine plucks with the main mics. Now here, what we've done is we've taken one of the articulations on one of the rods with its 4 round robins, and we've made it into a playable instrument over the keyboard. And we've picked 3 that are a very nice different sound, but they're tuned correctly, so you can play them. So that's kind of an interesting sound. Let's go on to pluck 2. Show you that one. So it's kind of otherworldly. You can hear the tonality, and it plays really nicely over, you know, kind of string section or over other kind of keyboards and things like that. It just adds a really interesting kind of harmonic blend, because it doesn't follow the harmonic series, so it has a really unique and interesting flavour. I'm going to show you the third one that we've set up here, which is slightly lower pitch. You probably notice that that's generated from the bass of the instrument, so it's kind of an interesting sound. I mean, obviously, you know, we can go. Let's put up the gallery and the close mics, a really far apart kind of combination, and see what that sounds like back on the first pluck. So you can hear, you can make you know, any kind of combination of stuff. We go back to our kind of traditional CTA, maybe pull the close mic down a tiny bit and the ambience down. You get so the sound sculpting ability in here is quite phenomenal. Oops, I've just accidentally turned those mics back on by moving the fader. So you've got that, and then obviously there's the mix mics for those as well. Let's look at tine bows. So this is the third of our kind of basic instrument patches. This one we've made from the kind of slower bowed version of the instrument. So you've got both versions. You've got the one that you play more gently, and then if you hit it harder, you get that very piercing high harmonic. But one thing which we found is really lovely for this is just kind of accompanying things with a very ambient sort of. It's just a fabulous tone to add to things and to use as a kind of really unusual. You wouldn't tell what this is, I don't think. If you heard it, you'd think, wow, it's a fantastic noise, but I've absolutely no idea what created it in the first place. So here's the second bow. So that's a lovely different sound as well. And then using the third one that we've picked. So you can hear that it's a great kind of thing to have there. And then the final patch of the basic patches is called gamelan style. And so in this, we've got some nice bowed stuff down here. And then across here, you've got it's not tuned. It's very deliberately left to make a kind of, you can use that for all kinds of stuff. We've called it gamelan style because it's not tuned to the Western scale, and it kind of has, it's redolent of that. It's not tuned in exactly the way that gamelan instruments would be tuned, but it does have that kind of flavour. So that was the inspiration for that one. I'm going to go very quickly back to the bows, just to show you something which I didn't really go into, but the water control is here as well. What you can do here is you can get that kind of fantastically weird. Let's start with a low. And you can hear that it's crossfadeable. It's the obvious way to do this on these ones is to have it crossfading. So that's the selection, and all of the other functionality is kind of the same as well. You've got an overall volume control here on CC11 expression pedal. So let's have a look now. Inside here you'll find some interesting stuff. This is what we've called our Mercury synth, and this has got some fantastic sound design. Everything has come from the original sessions, but we've kind of mangled stuff and found the most interesting combinations of sounds, and then put them on here. So here's I'll just play through a couple of the patches. Things like this, You've got massive amount of control here. That's this is the same synth engine as in Albion 3 Iceni, so you might be familiar with that from the previous library. But you've got, endless ability to kind of do stuff, and here you've got an XY transformer as well. So let me just play through a couple of things. This is one of my favorites. So that's Beauty Transformed. That's a kind of mangled Big Ben type sound. Catch your breath. And, you get the idea. Kind of goes on and on. There's some really wonderful stuff in here. I'm just going to pick a few at random. So here that's got quite a lot of air around it. We've done an ocean version, which is kind of more watery. You really can hear the kind of ambience going there. So there's a lot of good stuff in here. Last one. And a lot of these sounds really evolve over time. If you hold the key down, you hear the sound field change. Things move around. Harmonics come and go. So that's the Mercury synth. And to say, although this is the release version of the library, we're still generating more Mercury synth content because it's just the source sounds are so fantastic. So I'm absolutely certain that within, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks when we do our usual kind of V1.1, there'll probably be a significant number of extra Mercury synths to download and for free and pop into your library. So that is that's the basic library. So if I drag up the main mics, I'm going to very quickly now talk through the controls. These will all be familiar to you if you've used one of our libraries before. But here is the CC for the key switch controller. You see we've got 2 key switches here, so you can click on that, drag it left and right to position them where you want them. And then if you want to lock the articulation or lock the key switches, you can do that so that it doesn't accidentally get changed. You can click on the fascia to select between the key switches. This little button here unloads and loads the key switch. So if you know that you're not going to use the crossfaded version, you can just unload that. And then we've got the microphone positions here. You can load and unload the mics either by clicking on the chip here, the memory chip, or by just dragging the fader. So if you move the fader, it automatically loads it. And then if you drag it to the bottom, it's unloaded. And again, you'll see that your memory usage changes when you unload the sounds. That's because purge unuse is clicked. If you don't want that to happen, it loads everything. And then it's instant. You don't get any clicking noises. If you want to, for some reason, you want to turn mics on and off while you're playing, that's the way to do that. But we tend to leave that selected so that you're using as little memory as possible. You can transpose stuff here by switching this on, clicking that radio button and putting it either double clicking or dragging up and down to make a figure there. You can have CC1 mapped to velocity as well as to the water controller. If you want to change the water controller or expression, you control click on the thing and it says learn MIDI CC or remove MIDI CC. You can see it's set to CC1. You can drag up and down on the round robins. If you only want to use one round robin, you can drag that down to 1. And then there's a round robin reset section. If I just go up here, we'll have a look for those. So they're set at F7 at the moment. You can change that. So that determines what the first key in that group is. Now there are 4 of those, 1, 2, 3, 4. You can see there. The reason for that being because there's 4 round robins. So if you absolutely want to start with round robin 2 for this particular performance of whatever you're recording, you just click the round robin 2 key, or you insert it in your piano roll, depending on where, if it's outside your keyboard range or whatever. And then it will select this. It will start from round robin 2 with the next note that you play. Reset on transport you can select so that every time you press play on your DAW, it will reset to the first round robin. So that's another good way of controlling which round robins you're hearing. So that's pretty much it for the front panel. Yes. So here, this little button here is for the close mic. You can control the stereo width. At the moment it's set to normal. If you drag it to the right, it becomes kind of hyper stereo. If you drag it to the left, it becomes mono all the way to the left. And then you can pan it to wherever you want in the field. So that way you can you could collapse that close mic to mono and then point it over to the right, and then back it up with some tree ambience or whatever, and that will position the instrument in the field exactly where you want it. So that's a great way to do that as well. So that's everything on the front panel. So I hope you've enjoyed this look through our new library Hg2O. We're really excited about this. It's a fantastic library played by the incredible Paul Clarvis, really one of the best percussionists in the world without any shadow of a doubt. And so, we're incredibly excited about this instrument. It's been very good fun making it, and we hope you're going to enjoy it. It's got a lot of different sounds in there, a lot of interesting stuff for your sound design tracks and for weird sound effects and everything. and a really good way to create some new and interesting and unique sounds in combination with other things as well. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed watching. It's released on Thursday, and that'll be, I believe the release time we've set to 10 p.m. British Summer Time, which is 2 p.m. PST over in the west coast of America. So check back with us then. We'll be check out our keep it like on our Facebook page, and you'll get all our news coming through to you. And we look forward to seeing you on the next one. Thanks very much.